Hello everybody, and welcome to Windrush Farm Story Time. I'm Betsy Payne, and I will be reading you several horse and pony stories about the horses at Windrush Farm. Coyote Adventure. It was nighttime at Windrush Farm. Most of the horses and ponies were asleep in their stalls or outside in their paddocks, in their run-in sheds. It was mostly quiet except for the stomping, snuffling, and occasional snorting of one of the herd. It was a breezy night. Clouds scudded across the moon, and the pines up on the hill whooshed softly. Then, inside the big barn, there was a small clinking sound. Clink, thump, clink, thump. Nick, who had been dozing lightly, lifted his head. What was that? The noise came again. Clink, thump, clink, slap, thump. Then a rattle. Sky, the big black horse, heard it too, raised his head and poked it over the stall door. "What's that?" he said. "Shh, I don't know," whispered Nick. The noise continued, clink, slap, thump, and then bang, and then creak, and the two startled horses saw a small pony-sized shape trot briskly past them and up to the barn door, where it poked its nose into a wide crack in the almost closed door, then wedged its head in and pushed and pushed. A loud creak, and the barn door opened, just wide enough for the pony-sized shape to dart through. "Good heavens," said Nick, "someone is out." Then, just outside on the hill, there was a long, eerie howl. "Oh no," shouted Sky, "the coyotes are out, roaming around. Which pony got out?" Other horses were awake now, and everyone looked in the stalls next to them to see which pony had escaped. "It's little Quilly," cried Guinness. "Her stall is empty." "Quick, we've got to wake up Sparky to go rescue her. Everyone whinny as loud as you can." And they all began to neigh and whinny loudly. But the lights in the house across the yard did not go on. "We've got to rescue her ourselves," said Sky, "before the coyotes attack her." How will we get out?" "How did she get out?" "Push with your nose on the bolt and keep pushing. Go." There were many clinks and thumps and slaps as the horses tried to slide back the bolts on the doors. Some were very stiff and tight and could not be budged. At last Nick got his open, then Sky, and then Guinness. They burst into the aisle and dashed to the barn door. "The rest of you stay here and keep whinnying," yelled Guinness. "We'll go and get her," and he vanished out the door behind the other two into the dark. Down at the bottom of the hill, the road out to the big field ran like a river in the moonlight, and down that road trotted a tiny white pony, Quilly. She was very pleased with herself for escaping and gave a little buck of happiness as she trotted along. Then up ahead of her she heard the howling. She stopped, puzzled and a little scared. What was that? Quilly had never heard coyotes before. A recent addition to Windrush Farm, she came from a barn near town where there were no coyotes. She stood waiting to see what the howling was coming from. Then, up ahead of her, she saw shapes on the road, sort of dog-like shapes. She looked behind her, and there were more shapes there, too. She could see the green glow of their eyes. Were they nice dogs? There were lots of dogs around the farm where Quilly came from, and they were pretty friendly. Somehow these dogs didn't seem friendly, though, creeping along toward her on their bellies. And then, behind her on the road came the pounding of hooves. "Run, Quilly, run!" shouted Nick. "The coyotes are going to attack. Run!" With a terrified neigh, Quilly took off, galloping down the road as fast as her short little legs could go. Go left, go up the hill," shouted Nick from closer behind her now. As he shouted that, 3 furry forms came running at Quilly and jumped for her. No, squealed Quilly, and swerved away, trying to dash up the hill into the woods. "Rawr!" came from the coyotes. "Oh no, they're going to get me," thought Quilly. Her little sides were heaving with fear as much as breathlessness. She looked in the other direction and saw 2 more coyotes heading toward her, their green eyes bright, growling loudly. Then, right between Quilly and the 2 groups of coyotes, charged 3 big shapes. Big horses, strong horses, neighing fiercely. "Get out of there, creeps!" yelled Guinness. "I am a Mustang, and we can always beat you stupid coyotes." And he charged them, striking out with his hoofs. 2 of the coyotes ran away up the other side of the hill. The other 3 stopped in their tracks, doubtful, but still hungry for Pony. Then Nick appeared on their left, stomping and kicking. 2 more coyotes decided they weren't really very hungry and disappeared over the hilltop. Just 1 big coyote was left. "Mine, I think," called Sky, and reared up on his powerful hind legs above the remaining coyote. Waving his forelegs in the air, the big, powerful gelding hovered over the coyote, who cringed in horror beneath him. Crash! His legs descended, missing the coyote by only an inch or 2. "Yarroo!" howled the coyote, and took off as fast as he could go to get as far away as possible from that dark monster of a horse. "Yay! Yay!" trumpeted the 3 horses. "Oh," whispered Quilly, who was shaking and trembling. "Oh, Quilly, what a bad pony you were," said Nick, going over to her and putting his head gently over her neck. "Why did you try to get out of your nice warm stall?" I'm sorry, said Quilly, leaning into Nick and rubbing her face on his side. "Thank you for rescuing me, and you too, Sky and Guinness. I just thought it would be fun to run around outside in the moonlight. I didn't know about coyotes." "Well, come on, let's get back to the barn," said Sky, and the 3 horses and ponies made their way back down the road and up the hill to the barn. To their surprise, lights were everywhere in the barn, in Sparky's house, and Sparky was just coming down the road. "Well," he said, "so you found our wanderer. Good work, boys. Quilly, you were a silly girl, and now you're all sweaty. You need to be rubbed down. Back in your stalls, everyone. Tomorrow we will fix the lock so that no one can go gallivanting out at night." Soon all was quiet in the big barn again. The 3 heroes quietly told their adventure to their admiring friends as they munched on the carrots, which were their well-deserved reward. In her stall, Quilly lay down and was soon fast asleep. Said Nick. "New locks, eh? Well, guys, now we're going to have to see how we can open those." And he whickered softly to himself as he too settled down to sleep.